Okay, so welcome back. That's Patrick here. And what's going on? That's gonna be maybe a long video. I don't know. I'm just thinking and expressing myself here. Um and actually I'd like to illustrate that with a story. Um I was traveling those days with my family and I've realized that there's a kind of ghost inside of the head of a lot of us. When I say us, I mean people who study languages. And this ghost keeps saying things. It's like, oh, you cannot waste this time. Oh, you need to wake up earlier. You need to you need to go to bed later. You need to study more. When are you going to revisit your Anki decks? And that kind of stuff, and you know me, at least a little bit. And over the past 10 years, I've been studying something like 20 languages. And honestly, I don't think I need that. I don't think I need to keep juggling those 25 languages to be myself, to build my identity, to express myself, to be who I am. Um, and I was also recording another video here talking about my business, talking about my school, talking about how we made a six-figure business. And I've realized that a lot of those languages, I don't need them. They are just curiosity for me. They are just hobbies. And that was never my intention to when I started learning languages long time ago. I'm not counting with English, Spanish, French. That was all for work, of course. That was like English and Spanish was as a child. French was for work. So I mean, when I have decided to study languages, my intention was never to be slave to the grind, slave to the languages that I'm learning. I didn't want to be a slave. I didn't want to live my life thinking. I was like, I need to keep this language at this level, that language at that level. I need to learn more verbs. I need to learn more vocabulary. I've never started this journey to become paranoid. And it was happening a little bit with me. Um, so after a long week spending time on other things, spending some time with my kids, spending some time with my family, with my wife, and visiting some friends. Um, I've just realized that I don't need that. I don't need to be the guy who keeps pushing hard to maintain active routine with 20 languages. I don't need that. Honestly, what I really need is the languages I use for work. So that's another part of the video. Like, what do I want to be now? What do I want to do? Languages that I really need. Portuguese. That's my native language. That's a language that I talk to my family. So of course, that's not even debatable whether I need Portuguese or not. English and Spanish. First, like they are part of my identity. I I am more myself when I when I can use those three languages, it's like Portuguese, English, and Spanish. I can't be myself if I remove from the equation like English or Spanish. Yeah. plus the fact that I use those two languages to work. Um, so here we have Portuguese, English, Spanish, French. That's also a language that I use to work, and I already have a pretty decent level in French. My French is quite good, and I keep working with this language, so I see no reason to remove that from any equation. Um, After that, we have languages that I'm using that for like for random things. For example, I do use Ukrainian to talk to some friends that I have. Um, but that's okay for me, you know. Like I just talk to them, I listen to some stuff. I have no intention to study this language seriously in a structured routine. I don't care about levels anymore. Like whatever I can do, that's fine. As long as I communicate with some friends. German goes in the same way, you know. But when I simply say that, also like Polish goes the same way. So you have like German, Ukrainian, Polish. I communicate with some friends. I read some things, and that's good for me. I don't need to prove levels or something. Like I have a Macedonian book there that I have the intention to finish, and you know, that's good. I don't want to be slave to the grind. That's the point here. But then, on the other hand, when I say all that looks like I'm becoming old and lazy. There, I'm getting old, I'm becoming lazy, and that's the end of it. No, not true. I'm just focusing. And I've decided to focus on two languages only. That's gonna be Russian and Japanese. And I'll tell you why. Russian was the first time that I had to rebuild my brain. You know, I had to understand the word again through a different perspective. I remember that, and that was fantastic. The feeling I got when I speak Russian is still the same. It's a feeling of victory. It's a feeling of, come on, I could reshape my brain and I did it perfectly. I can express myself. I can understand people. In all the other Slavic languages that I have studied, I like them all, but I see them through Russian. You know what I mean? Because that was the first language that, the first Slavic language that I really learned. And I had a lot of struggle with myself whether I should keep learning Russian or not, especially during the conflict. And then I abandoned Russian for some time, but it didn't work. Russian is a language that is too deep inside my soul and brain. For example, I dream in Russian. My wife tells me many times that I speak Russian when I'm sleeping, which is crazy, I know. But there are some Russian expressions that I want to say them even when I'm speaking Portuguese, and I need to fight myself to avoid that. And even like first people who first people who taught me Russian, they don't use Russian anymore because they were all Ukrainians, and they switched. Like, and that makes a lot of sense. But even then, I couldn't let go. I couldn't let this language go. This language is part of my identity. And I took a long time to embrace it, a long time to accept it, but it is what it is. Russian is a language that is too deep in my brain. And I don't want to fight against it anymore. Um, Actually, I'm embracing this pathway fully. Um, I'm already I'm already studying for the exam. I'm going to take the exam, the B2 exam, and that's not the end. I'm going to do the B2 exam this year. Next year, I want to do it again, the C1, and keep moving, keep pushing to the C2 level, because I understand that if this is a language that makes part of my own being, so I need to push this language to the same level that I have in English and Spanish. You know, I need to be able to have the same level. So yeah, Russian is gonna be the focus of the year. I'm already studying. And also Japanese. Japanese, because when I study Japanese, I feel a very similar feeling that I had when I studied Russian for the first time. And I feel that this is the last piece of my identity. You know, like this language represents the last piece of my puzzle here. You know, is the last piece of the puzzle of my mind. And I don't know, I don't feel the pressure when I'm learning Japanese. Um, and of course, but even studying only Japanese and Russian, I'm not rushing for levels. I'm simply having fun and rebuilding myself, reshaping my identity. Because for me, languages are always about identity. And I truly believe that Japanese is part of my identity that I'm still shaping. Um, and it gives me this new configuration gives me more free time to focus on other stuff, focus on business, focus on my family much more, focus reading different things, not about language learning, maybe play some instruments, like things that I don't really find the time to practice, like back to harmonica, um, kind of things. And then I will be back to the beginning in the sense of having fun and shaping my identity through language learning. And I'm not gonna be a slave to the grind anymore. So in this meaning, that I sound like no more a polyglot, like because I don't want to collect languages. Um, and maybe you could ask me, but Patrick, what about the other languages? What about the other exams, like Korean, Chinese? Um, I don't have the energy, the motivation, and the most important thing, I don't have the reason to push myself to that level for nothing. I mean, okay, that's cool, but for what? I don't need it. That's the point. I don't need it. And I don't feel like I have to do that. And I can have better results if I focus fully on Russian and Japanese. Technically, am I still a polyglot? Even if I focus on these two languages? Yeah, let's say so. I don't care that much about these terms and words like a polyglot, hyper polyglots, like whatever. But so I use Portuguese, English, Spanish, and French all the time. So that gives me like four languages that I use consistently. And I don't even have the possibility of avoiding it. I use these four languages. Plus the fact that then you have like Russian, Japanese, automatically is like six languages. But as I mentioned previously, I still use Ukrainian with some friends. I still use Polish. I still use German. So I can't stop being a polyglot, even if I want to. But I don't care anymore. I'm not slave to the grind. And that's so powerful. That's so powerful. I feel so energized that I will finally be able to focus only on what really matters to me. Yeah. So right now, what I'm doing about my routine, quite simple. Um, I'm following in Japanese. I'm consuming a lot of content, and I'm following kind of everything my language partner tells me to do, because that's not my area, that's not my field, that's not my expertise. I don't feel I can do that by myself, so I follow all all the orientation that she tells me to do. Like, so I'm following the material. I'm following the process according to her lead. I'm following her lead. That's the point. And in Russian, I know the terkai. I've been practicing with my friend Jay, and I've been reading and studying consistently, like the grammar. But now it's so powerful, the feeling that when I wake up in the morning and I study hard, Japanese and Russian, after that, I'm free. I don't need to keep thinking like I still have to study Chinese. I still have to study Korean. I still have to practice some Italian. I still have to practice some. I don't care. I wake up, I study Russian, I study Japanese, and I'm free. That's so powerful. I'm very happy with this. I just wanted to share with you. I will post some updates about my routine with Japanese and Russian. Um, it's a lot of fun. So please let me know in the comments your thoughts, what you think, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, that helps a lot. And see you guys very soon.